Do you ever feel like your paintings are missing something, but you're not quite sure how to fix it? Today, I'm going to show you the one step you might be missing that can transform your art into paintings you love. Hi there, I'm Janine. I'm an artist and I share my creative journey on this channel. For my current series, I have mainly been working intuitively so far, but at some point I have to stop and reflect on what I've made. Whenever I feel a little bit stuck with my process, I like to review my work to get a sense of the direction I want to go in. Let me show you how I do that. I've printed small thumbnails of each of my panels in colour, so I can make notes on that. And then if you've seen my video on composition, you'll know that it's much easier to figure out a composition in black and white, because then you see where the dark values and where the light values are. So I've printed 4 small versions in black and white as well, so I can play around with different compositions. You can also do that digitally. You can just take a picture and then mark it on an app like Procreate or something similar. So the way to quickly see your composition in black and white is just with your phone. So I'm basically just taking a picture. That's the picture I've just taken. And then you go into Edit and go to Saturation, then turn that all the way down. And then you'll see all your values really clearly. It's basically what I've got here. So I've already made a couple of notes on this because I started recording and then realized there was something wrong with the thumbnail, so I had to print those again. I do really like some of the colors happening here. I like the rust together with the light blue. I think that's a really nice complementary color scheme. But there are a lot of colors going on at the moment, so I want to simplify that a little bit. So simplify the color palette, and also overall it looks quite dark still, so I want to lighten a lot of the areas. I do really like this little darker bit on the side, and I like the scribbly marks here. And then I like the cloudiness, but I want to lighten that up overall and maybe add some more cloudiness. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to scribble on these. So for example, I want to lighten this a lot more. Just gonna put some more lightness here. Maybe some of this needs to be lighter too. Then I could have a so lighten this. And then here I think this mark is a little bit distracting, so I'm going to go over that. So I'm just exploring options at this stage. That's why I printed quite a few thumbnails. And then I think this is too much here, this dark. And also this I think needs to be simplified. And also the center here. Maybe I'll get a white pencil so I can be a little bit more selective with my values. Let's see if this one works. So I want to lighten all of this. And maybe down here that needs to be lighter too. So in this one, I'm lightening a lot and just keeping a few of the dark bits. Also, this is quite similar to this, so maybe this has to go. Or I'll make it very small. So that feels better to me. The other thing I could do, could add more darks. So up here, where I've already got a little bit of dark, I could make this bit even darker. And then keep this bit down here, but then the middle needs to be lighter. And this here is a bit distracting, so I'll make that very small. Or get rid of this bit and just keep that. And then another option, maybe get rid of this dark bit at the top, on most of it. And again, I think the middle needs to be lighter here. And maybe I'll just keep the dark dot, but around the dark dot I'll get rid of that. And just keep this as a slightly larger dark bit. And then this is like a triangular composition, which works quite nicely. And I've already made this bit darker, but I could just darken this whole area and connect those dark bits here and make one large dark shape out of them. And then maybe make this a larger dark. Make this even darker. And then maybe make this just a very small dark shape. This needs to be lighter. And then maybe also add a little bit more dark here to make this shape even larger, this dark shape. Maybe connect that all the way down here to this little one, but not quite as dark. And then I think this one needs to be a bit bigger. To balance this large one. Yep, and then we've got this one and this little one here. And maybe lighten this again. Okay, so I've got 4 options of what I can do. And then, is there anything else I like? I feel like this, the ultramarine is a bit much here. Too much ultramarine. And also I don't really like the pinks, they clash a little bit with the rust. But that's really part of simplifying the colour palette. I do really like these little marks. It's enough to make you lose your sense. Enough to make you lose. Here I do actually really like the bright bits of pink. And also I like that I've got some muted pinks to complement that. So I think that works well together. And then I've also got this blue, which I think might be too intense. I might have to dull that down a bit so the pink can shine more. And the yellows maybe, I do like it, but maybe I need to just remove some of it. Because again, it's fighting a little bit with the pink. And then again, overall it's quite dark. So I want to lighten it. I like the neo color on the texture here. Okay, so I do want to lighten that overall. Let's give it a go. So at the moment I have this large dark shape here with an even darker bit here, and then a few here, and then this L shape. Okay, first option, I think get rid of this L shape. And then maybe even the dark bit. Just leave it tiny. The dark bit I think is too much. So I'll just make that smaller. And I can leave this dark. And I feel like it needs something to balance it over here. So maybe connect these two slightly darker ones. And this can, I quite like that this is more of a medium shade, and that makes it a bigger shade, but also not as dark. So that's one option. Then I could connect these to make them an even larger shape, larger dark. And I could just leave a little stripe here. See what that looks like. And then get rid of this dark shape here. And then this one needs to be a lot smaller, I think. And this one is also competing a little. So maybe I could even darken these bits on the side of pink. That's another option. And then, what else can I do? Let's try and get rid of some of that. Let's pretend this is our darkest shape. And it doesn't have to be as dark as this for it to be a dark shape. It could just be the way it is now. In which case, I would then lighten anything that's darker than this color and want this to be the darkest value. So I'll get rid of this dark one completely. That's quite distracting. I quite like these. And then tone this one down a lot. So it's visible a tiny bit maybe. And then I have to make this dark shape smaller to not compete with this dark one. So I could just keep those two little dots. Maybe even that. Now I feel like these are competing with this. So just keep that one. And I would also get rid of this one. I do really like these stripes here. So I could maybe do some more of that. Maybe continue some sort of stripiness here. And what if I got rid of this completely? Keep this one. And this again is too distracting. Just make it a small dark. Remove this. Or make it very small. And then this one. This one could actually be, I could extend here. Be larger. Probably in a similar value to this. Small dark here. And then on top of that. That's another 4 options. Yeah, I do really like all the textures in this, especially what I did with the Neo color. This one I do very much like. I really like the intense blue and also the orange, but I'll probably have to make a decision on what I want to keep the dominant color. And I think it might be the blue, because that's the only one where I have this intense blue. So keep blue and tone down the orange a bit. And then there's a lot of texture, so I do need to simplify that. If overall, I think it could again do with being a bit lighter. I think that's probably the case for all of them. I do actually really like this weird little bit of intense color. And then I do love those 2 blue ones. And also this texture and how it continues here. Now for the composition, it does look a little bit messy. So I have this dark shape here, another dark here, which is quite similar in size to this one. So I want to make them more different. Okay, first option, have this one as the big dark shape, maybe even connected to this dark up here somehow. To have an even larger dark shape. Then I could keep that, but I'd probably still make it a little bit smaller. Maybe by removing this dark blue bit here. And then there's a lot of darks dotted around that are quite similar. So I'd make this one a bit smaller. Maybe get rid of this one. And I can keep that, and up here again, this is also quite dark. I might lighten that a little bit. And this one's quite distracting. Make this a bit smaller. But then this one, you see this dark one? That's really dark and it's right in the middle, which immediately draws your eye into the center. But I want it to go around a bit more, so I think I'm going to remove this one, or maybe move it somewhere else, like where I had this bit down here. That's a bit better. Now I've got 3 equally sized ones here. So I think I'm going to get rid of this. Maybe make this even smaller. Now another option is to keep this one as the large dark. And then make this one smaller. So I'd probably Remove some of the bits that don't have the pattern. I do like this corner here, so maybe I'll just break that up a bit more. And I've got these shapes very similar, so maybe break that up as well. See what that looks like. Maybe this needs to go away from the edge. And then so I'll try and get rid of these bottom darks. I could make this slightly longer. We connect these two darks to make a slightly longer dark shape, so they're not all so similar to this one. Okay, and then so far I think I prefer this one. Okay, again, I think maybe this is the dark bit and make this even darker. Connect this here, and then maybe get rid of most of that. I do like how this anchors it into the corner, but I really like this pattern with the soft pastel, so I'll get rid of most of the dark down here and keep this pattern bit. Okay, make this smaller again, so it's not right in the center. I could even extend this, see what that looks like. And then again, I think I need to get rid of this one. Or I could turn this into more pattern as well. Or I could add a pattern like this, those stripes down here. That's quite nice actually. And the other thing I could do, I could connect these bits here. Make this all dark. I've got one dark shape here. And this one again needs to be smaller. Maybe I'll just lighten the whole orange. That's just an option. I do really like that area. And remove some of this. Keep this for once. And then maybe remove some of that up here. And now these aren't so similar, so I can keep that. Okay, so again, 4 options. I really like the green and the pink together here, and also those tiny bits of orange, but I think I, again, need to reduce the color palette a little bit. But that might be nice to have one that has more colour, so we'll see. Like the pink and the green. And then I do like this fiery looking bit. But it has a lot of texture, so I definitely need to simplify that. And actually in the print, this looks quite a bit lighter, which I like. I think in reality this is quite dark. Okay, so for the composition, I really like the dark bits here. I like that intensity. Actually, let me say that. Yeah, I like the dark corners. Now, I said I definitely want to lighten this area. This can stay dark, but maybe I'll deliberately keep this as a large dark shape. I quite like this light one in the dark. I can keep this a dark shape as well, so I have a fairly dark shape with even darker bits in it. But then to make that work, oh, this could also all be dark. So that's this as an option. And then I think this here needs to be a little bit lighter. That's one option with not very many changes. I could make this all lighter. So I only have this dark shape. And then maybe make this dark shape even smaller. So this is actually a bigger shape. I think I would lighten this bit down here as well. Again, I could keep the corner fairly dark. And I think this bit needs to all be a little bit more even. There's too many shapes going on. So get rid of this dark shape, this tiny one, this, and then here maybe also get rid of that. That feels better too. Then I could just lighten these parts. So this is still a bigger shape. So this is basically my dark shape, and this is another dark shape. And then I could keep that, so they are sort of similar in size, but it could be an option. So this is only slightly smaller than this one, and then this is only slightly bigger than this one. Then I'll use darks. And then keep this a fairly dark option. Now another thing I could do is lighten most of it. Let's see what happens if I go over everything. Even these bits. I do actually like that. Now this is a little bit darker than this bit. Not as dark as the really dark bits. I do actually quite like that. I didn't think I would. So this is a lot more simplified, and you only have the dark areas around the perimeter and just a few dark bits of interest dotted around here. I do really like all the colors here. There are a lot of colors, but I think they do really work together on this one. So this could be a more colorful one. But again, it's a little bit dark, I think, at the moment, so I need to lighten that. Again, on the print, it looks lighter than it does in reality, so I think I want it more like this. I really like those little circle-y scribbles. I really love the colors that happened here. And also where I scraped away with a silicone blade, and you can see some of the texture underneath, but it's quite a transparent layer. Same here. So these the transparency I really like. And in terms of composition, it's not bad actually. So if I just lighten these bits here, maybe simplify this darker bit in the middle, then I think that's already quite good. This could be a larger dark shape, or make the dark colors here a bit more similar. So maybe lighten the dark and then darken this mid value. Yep, and this could be another dark shape. And maybe get rid of some of this up here. And I have a lot of these little dots, so maybe this one needs to go. I could... Actually, I left this here, so what if I lighten all of this? Keep this here, and then remove those two darks. Yeah, and just lighten everything overall. And then keep all of this. Quite like that. Again, there's a lot of spaciousness, which is what I'm after with this series. Let's try another option similar to this, so make all this lighter. Maybe just keep this dark down here and lighten this. And maybe make this bit even smaller, so just keep the lovely colours I've got here and remove this dark bit. Yeah, that also works. Right, this one I'm really not that keen on, but what I do like about it is these marks up here. Overall, it definitely needs to be lighter, and the colors are all over the place. So I need to simplify the color palette, and also way too much texture. Okay, so first option, I want to keep this, but I want to lighten pretty much all of it. Maybe have a bit more dark down here. But what I do like about this one is that it's overall fairly light and there isn't really much dark. There's only this dark bit here, so this could be my darkest. And this here, and then this. And then have this as a sort of a medium dark. Or even get rid of this, most of it. So that would be very light. Another option, this could be my dark. Keep this bit dark. But maybe make it smaller and only really keep, so lighten all this bit and then just keep the marks here a bit dark. Again, this I think is too distracting. Keep this slightly darker. Another version I could do is, I really like this little dark bit on the side. So I could have something like that down here. Maybe have this smaller and extend this all the way down. And then get rid of this dark bit here. And if I wanted to keep this darker bit in the middle, get rid of all of this here. Maybe make it a little bit lighter even. And then get rid of this up here. So that's a bit distraction from this one. And then I would lighten this bit here. Maybe keep that corner. Then I think this one might have to go. We'll just keep a tiny bit as a dark sort of works. Maybe extend that a bit. Make this a little bit smaller. What else can I do? So far I like the one with most of the light the best. So again, let's get rid of this middle bit. Maybe keep that. Get rid of this. And then just keep this dark down here and lighten most of this. Basically a combination between these two. That also kind of works. Maybe make this a bit darker. These last two ones are my favorites so far. I am really enjoying actually the more intense color, but it has a lot of the brown, so I think the brown will stay the dominant color, and maybe I'll reduce the colored bits, but I do like those. So I like the bright colors, and then have it mainly brown and beige. It's actually more of a, I think this is the muted pink, but it looks kind of brown. And then obviously the beigey light. So the brown pink will be the dark color. And I really like the texture. I think I achieved that by scraping away the wet paint. So you're left with a transparent layer. And then I think I added some neo color wash on here. So I want to keep as much of the texture as possible. And I also really like those two little scrape marks. All this texture is great. And I love the pinky brown color. So I probably wouldn't actually change that much on this one. Possibly reduce this blue a little bit. For the composition, it's not that bad actually. I have a large dark shape here, and this one's a bit smaller. Maybe I need to make this a bit of a bigger dark shape. And then I feel like those two might be kind of distracting. What if I got rid of those completely? It's quite interesting. And then just have a little bit, actually this here, make this a little bit darker. That's quite interesting. Keep all that, keep that. That's one option. Then the other thing I could do, I could connect these two shapes to make a large dark shape. And then I think I need to reduce this a little bit. I might even have to get rid of this dark completely, or just lighten it a lot. So another option, actually this is very similar to this in size. So maybe I need to just break that up a bit. Not sure. Oh, make this bit even a bit darker. To have him as more of a large shape. Could be. Then I think maybe lighten this dark shape. Keep it dark, but not as dark. But then remove this here. What I did like about that though was the it's more angular than this. So maybe I'll change that here. And this is actually, looks like it's a slightly lighter dark, also angular version. That's quite nice. I like that. I probably won't have to do very much to the rest. Do very much like that. Okay, what else can I do? I find this quite distracting. And then I could keep this, just leave everything else. Maybe lighten this a bit. Again, I really like the colors on this one. I might have to make a decision on which colors I want to be dominant. But I don't think I can make that decision at the moment. So I do like the colors. And I like the softness down here. And I really like these scribbly marks and also those. And this, basically all the marks here are great. Some of the lighter areas look a bit muddy. So I think I need to simplify those. And again, in the printout, they actually look a lot lighter, which I do prefer. Now for the composition, I have this darker shape here, which is quite large. Then I have this, which is a little bit dark, and the one down here, and that bit here is actually also quite dark. Now I could keep that as the dark option, as the large dark. And then this one I think needs to be lighter, even if it's just a little bit. And this here looks a bit messy, so I think I would tidy that up a bit. And I really like this little dark here. And then I could probably leave that and even this, but I might lighten this bit in between. Maybe not. Not sure. Then the other thing I could do, I could actually make that dark shape even bigger, like connect it with all this. Make an even larger dark shape. Then I think I would like to make this a bit more graphic down here. More of a harsher edge. And then I could probably keep this if I make this a bit lighter. And I could even keep the texture, just this brown bit here should be lighter. Another option, have this dark, but then make all this a lot lighter. I could extend this up a little bit. Make this actually my dark shape. My large dark shape. And then probably make this bit a bit more defined so this looks smaller. And then I could keep that. It's quite nice. And then down here, I would probably simplify that. Yeah, maybe just have a little bit of dark down here. Now, if I wanted to lighten it a lot more, just as an option, I could get rid of all of this dark. But I do want to keep the texture. Lighten this bit. And lighten this bit as well, and this bit down here really distracting, and this is quite in the middle, so maybe I move this further away from the middle and then just extend that pattern down here a little bit. Maybe make this part of the shape. I do actually quite like that. But I need to get rid of this. Maybe not. Maybe I can keep these two shapes too similar in size. Maybe I'll lighten the light bit down here a bit more. Extend that part. So now I've got 4 options for all of these, and I'm just going to use those as a guide to move my panels along, but I won't really stick to it strictly, because once I work on the panel I might come up with some other ideas. I do this whenever I feel a little bit stuck with a painting, maybe not as in depth as I just did for the whole series. And the further along I get in a series, the more strategic I get, the more I think about the composition, the colors and everything. It's still really important though to keep playing and not get too tight, even when you have a plan of what you want to do next. So my secret to striking paintings is balancing playful intuition with a more strategic review. If you want to see the last video of my series, then click the link up here. Thanks and bye bye.